Garcia with EndeavorFreedom.tv, and I'm here with Josh Cusick of People First of Georgia. And Josh is going to tell us about two different things, but first we're going to talk about the 20th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act, Josh, because you and Cherie and several other members of People First and ADAPT have met with the mayor to talk about accessibility and making accommodations to the sidewalks and different things. Can you talk to us about what happened in that meeting, what transpired, and what you guys got done?
Yes, sir. I don't really recall much that happened because so much has been going on between then and now, but I'll just give you my recollection of events.
Please.
I'd say we got most, if not all of them, to agree on that the sidewalks needed improvement, that, you know, that it was generally overall bad. The sidewalks were doing bad in that area.
Right, and didn't you guys provide them like specific photographs and
Correct.
and specific parts and pieces of sidewalks that needed to be fixed?
Yes, very good point, Ed.
Okay.
They had some sidewalks that were too steep. Some of them had a little lip down to the street.
Right. Many of them were unbroken and uneven.
Correct.
Right. And so some of them, in essence, were truly dangerous too for
Yes,
people
sir.
with disabilities,
yes,
right?
Sir. I agree.
Right, because some of the inclines, or it could force you out into traffic. I mean, just the conditions in the state of the sidewalks here in Atlanta could definitely be improved upon. And
Yes.
Josh and Cherie were able to meet with the mayor over the anniversary of the 20th anniversary of the Disabilities Act, and they were able to get promises to accommodate and to make all the sidewalk situation here better, but also to make accessibility in general better here in the state of Georgia and in the city of Atlanta.
Yes, sir.
All right, Josh. Well, tell us about the next aspect of your focus, because People First of Georgia is now working on getting businesses to be more compliant as far as ADA regulations, and also in meeting accessibility and accommodation needs.
Yes, sir. And in fact, what started all this for me was my family and I were eating at a restaurant a long time ago. That's not really a business per se, not like a department store, but a restaurant. And what I in fact found out after meeting with the general manager, yes, I took it all the way to the manager, was that there was no ramp. So that night I wrote a letter to the restaurant manager, politely asking him to investigate the situation. And as of yet, there is a ramp. So there has been some good out of that, but it's a long way down from where we usually park. So it's like, okay, we pull in, but the curb cut's not right there. Instead, I have to go all the way down in the street, in a parking lot, where a car could start backing out at any time and go up that way, where there is a ramp.
But before, they didn't even have a ramp. And
No, sir.
So
No,
with
sir.
your letter, they were at least willing to put one in. Right?
Yes, sir.
Well, that's good. And I find that in dealing with businesses, that's the easiest way to approach them is to write a letter and address your specific needs and ask them to accommodate.
Oh, that is
And then if they don't do it then oftentimes you can just either get in touch with the manager or get the media involved.
Oh,
And when
that
you
is
have
very much
cameras
correct.
involved, then you get a lot of things done.
Yes, sir.
Well, Josh, can you tell us what other things would you say to business owners or to people out there that are not accommodating their businesses for people with disabilities?
I don't really have many complaints because I don't really have many connections, so to speak, with various businesses.
Mm-hmm.
But if I were in that position, what I'd probably say is that the solution of a wider aisle would definitely have to be investigated. So you would have that aspect instead of the usual the narrow stool aisles. You have a slightly wider pathway, as well as just general attitude toward people with disabilities, because sometimes it's not the actual accommodations themselves that are the barriers. It's others,
People.
right?
People and their attitudes. Right,
toward
right.
those with disabilities, like myself, for example.
I want to make a comment on something that Josh just talked about as well, and that has to do with all of you businesses that are packing your aisles and trying to get as much product out on the storeroom floor as possible. Just recognize that people that use wheelchairs that need to be able to maneuver through the aisles, that's keeping people, that use wheelchairs out of your stores, and not making it easily for them to be able to shop. And so, as I mentioned earlier, people with disabilities are 25% of the population. That is an overwhelming, as far as money to spend, that's a huge portion of the population. And so if you make your stores accessible, you could increase your sales. So, Josh, do you have any other comment that you'd like to say to the business owners or to the world in general as far as accessibility and accommodation?
Well, I do have one final comment, and with that being said, that final comment is, if the world doesn't open its eyes to people with disabilities, we will take action.
Absolutely. Thank you, Josh.
There's no doubt about that.
Thank you. Absolutely. We will take action.
Thank you very much for your time.
Appreciate you, Josh. Thank you. All right.